right, welcome back to Big Fish in the Middle Kingdom for this very special bonus episode. This is once again a live EO event. If you are not familiar with them, the EO stands for Entrepreneurs Organization. It is a membership organization. Their requirements are freely searchable on their website. I'll put a link in the show notes. I am not a member, and I am fortunate, though, to have a lot of friends here who are in Beijing. And so there have been 4 or 5 or 6 previous guests who are members, as well as a lot of people who visit there. And they have these open events from time to time, and I was lucky enough to get to go to one. And their events are always really great. They're about how to help you build a business, be very successful. And part of why I'm not a member, frankly, is that they are aimed at people who are already successfully running a fairly successful, financially lucrative enterprise. They're there to help people who are already achieving a lot to achieve more, and there are a lot of great resources for people who are just getting started, but they're also kind enough to have these events where people like me can go and learn more. So anyway, without any editing of this ramble, I'm going to present the event live and unedited as it aired. I will clean up the sound as good as I can. It was a live event, and I'm basically miking a speaker, and people are presenting and using their hands, and they don't always have the microphone in front of their mouth, so bear with it. But there's a lot of great information. There were basically 5 guests who were all very successful in their careers, and they each did a roughly 8-minute presentation on how to be successful and to work in this market here in China specifically. But there are a lot of lessons that you can take very generically that apply to building a business basically anywhere. And one of them was my friend John Dietz, who runs Bong Bong. There was James Lalonde, who is a serial founder of a bunch of companies. He's currently running Yoli, and several other people. I will also include the flyer that has a lot more information that went out with the event invitation. I will include that on the blog post on crazyinagoodway.com. So check that out for more information. Without further ado, please enjoy the bonus episode.
My name is AJ Warner. I am the president of the local EO chapter. EO stands for Entrepreneurs Organization. We sponsor a number of these open learning events throughout the year because we are an organization by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And so we want to share with the local Beijing entrepreneur community, great information, great learning. To share a little bit more about EO before we get started, we're celebrating our 30th year anniversary. So 30 years ago, EO was started in someone's dorm, and it has grown into a 13,000-person organization in 54 countries spread across 173 chapters. In China, we have 7 chapters, 2 chapters in Beijing. One is English-speaking, one is Chinese-speaking, obviously. And what makes EO special is that we get together every month. Typically in Beijing, we get together on the second Tuesday for 4 hours. And we get together and we talk about the issues that are facing our companies, the things that were challenging us. And we go around the room and everyone shares their experiences. And from that sharing, we're able to get new ideas and new inspiration. And so when we leave the EO meeting, we have a new mindset. We can go back the next day, back to our company with new ideas and how to make our businesses grow and be successful. And I've been doing this since 2010. So I'm very proud to be an EO member. I'm so proud that 2.5 years ago, I decided to step up and become the chapter president. So I've been a chapter president now for 2.5 years. And since we're in China and everything changes quick, I am very happy to turn over the reins of leadership to someone even better than me. Where's Claudia? Where is Claudia? Here we are.
Claudia Basuga, I'm the founder and CEO of Cheers Wines. I hope you enjoy our good drops of wines. So why I love EO is because I do need to hang out with entrepreneurs, because we all know our lives are just very, very challenging all the time. Recently I saw on YouTube Elon Musk saying being an entrepreneur is like looking to the orbit and chewing on glass. So I think you all know the feeling a little bit. So it's entrepreneurs are all people like to look in the future, and we love to talk about strategies and visions and so on and so on. So it's a very exciting organization, the Entrepreneur Organization. And for everyone who is interested, you're going to see some people with this thingy around your neck. And on the April 26th, we're going to have a lunch for possible prospects, and we would like to invite you to come. So please go and find us and talk to us, and then we are happy to invite you. Now, I'm very excited to look for the future. Thank you, AJ.
All right. Thank you very much, Claudia. So why do we organize this event? One of the reasons is I wanted to introduce 5 really outstanding entrepreneurs here from Beijing to the whole community. They're doing really interesting things, and there's a lot that you can learn from them, and they can learn from you. Because today I've set this up in a very unique way that we're going to have a lot of time for networking so that you can meet all the speakers and you can meet all the people in the audience. So we're going to have a lot of networking later on this evening. So don't leave too quick. And with that, I wanted to introduce the speakers that are going to be speaking today. So one of the first speakers we're going to have today is James Lalonde, who is started a company called Yoli that is revolutionizing the way that people are going to learn languages. And a very interesting thing is his entire company is built on the WeChat platform. We also have, we have Boon Chai Lamata Daboom, I probably butchered that name, whose company is Nama Life. And through cross-border e-commerce, he is helping Thai brands to grow in China and take market share. We have, we have John Dietz, who has started a company called Bang Bang Pictures, which is helping movie directors and movie producers to create movies on par with Hollywood. We have, gone blank here? Leandro. Yes, we have Leandro with 3D Food, who has come up with a way that's going to create a whole revolution in the nutritional value of food that we eat every day for breakfast. And finally, Jackie. How can I forget Jackie? Jackie Delan, who has started a company called LeVector, which is an AI marketing firm that is going to change the way that companies are able to market directly to people that are interested in their products. So we have a very exciting group of people that are going to be sharing their knowledge with you. Now, when I invited them, I asked them to limit their time to 8 minutes. And I thought I was making that easier on them, just 8 minutes. But what I found is that they're very comfortable speaking 15, 30, 45 minutes about their companies, about the markets that they're focused on, because they're just so passionate. So when I asked them to talk to 8 minutes, they had to really compress the knowledge that they're going to share with you. And it's taken them a long time, and they've practiced it, and I really appreciate all the effort that they put into making these fantastic presentations for you. So sit back. We're going to have 5 presentations, 8 minutes each, and then afterwards we're going to have about an hour of networking that is going to be very interesting. So with that, let me first introduce James. Why don't you come on up and share a little bit about your company with us.
Don't start the clock yet. I have a special announcement. Do not start that clock. Okay, those of you who see me, I like to actually touch the screen, so I'm going to get up here. It's not because I'm short, because I kind of am, but I like to touch the screen. So I have an announcement. You've come to the wrong place. Hello? Technical difficulty. This is called now We Work Naked. This place we're in now. Okay? Does that sound pretty good? Well, I just made that up, but that's what this place is called now. So can you please all take off your clothes? I'll start. You can start, AJ. Can you take off your clothes? We work naked. We're all working. Obviously, this is a dream that all entrepreneurs have, to either exit and get out and make your dream a reality. This is obviously going to be a good thing for Naked Hub. So congratulations to Naked Hub. But I'll tell you, the work has probably just begun for these guys. So I'm going to talk about WeChat. And I came to China just over 5 years ago to co-found a mobile phone gaming company. And that was when gaming was taking off. China was like the number 10 or 11 or 12 gaming market in the world. We figured it was going to number 1 pretty quick. We came over. And in the middle of doing that startup, which is, thank you very much, very successful. It's the largest game publisher in that space that's a privately held company. But I realized my world got taken over by WeChat. I did everything as a resident here in WeChat. And you guys know this, but you sometimes probably take it for granted. If you go back home, you realize what it's like. You have a banking app, you have a hail a car app, you have an app for booking flights and hotels, you have an app for everything. Okay, you can start the clock now. Okay. But it's all in this super app. And 1.1 billion people use this app every day. One conversation, guys in the back with the pizza. Hi, how's it going? Love ya. You're not naked. I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, they're going to turn around. They're going, who's that you're talking to? This is something, and people spend 70% of their time on their phone in this app. So it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And so what I did was, in the consultation of getting this presentation ready today, I tested it on AJ. And the first round, he didn't get it. So we simplified it. And AJ, I think you got this one, right?
I got it.
All right. So AJ got it. We're going to get it to where you get it. So just stay with me here. So when you want to be on WeChat, you first start usually with a subscription account. It's a broadcast mechanism. You tell people about your specials, what's going on with your products, what events you're doing. It's a one-way communication medium. It's very easy to get set up. It's not very powerful. What most people don't know is there's a thing called a service account where all of your customer interactions can be stored, the powerful access to the APIs in WeChat, and the whole back end starts from the service account. And actually, if you're taking money directly, you need a service account. Okay? And then, if that wasn't enough, a year and a half, not even a year and a half ago, a year and 3 months ago, mini programs came out. They wanted to call it mini apps, but Apple had a problem with that, so they call it mini programs. Okay? But these are not, and a lot of entrepreneurs I meet, well, I'll just hire a developer and we'll build a mini app and everything will be cool and we'll be on WeChat. And it's not like that. So a mini app is a single purpose, usually a rich user interface type app that basically circles your service account. It orbits your service account, and you can have multiple satellites in the sky. And these satellites can go and talk to other people. People can share them like they share articles. They can do lots of things with these things. They're very powerful, but they are not an app in the sense of the paradigm that we all hold, because for the last decade with your Apple iPhone or with your Android, you download an app, right? This is not that paradigm, and I'll take you through an example. Hopefully, it'll make it very clear to you. Okay, is there anyone that's unclear about that? I know somebody is. Is anyone feeling sleepy? All right. So these all work together. Okay, and this is why it's really a software as a service or a cloud infrastructure to deliver services to a customer. And you'll see, I'm taking you through an actual demo of the app to show you the pieces and how they work together. And you need to understand this as an entrepreneur, because just building one of these doesn't get you anywhere. It's a waste of money. Not leveraging all the power that's in this is a waste of money. And this is a one-way communication mechanism. It's not going to get you everything you need. And it's fundamentally different from the West. The West all revolves around email. The assumption in the West is that you have a PC at home and you have a PC at work and you use email and you communicate and you log in. Here, when I go on to a website, I usually log in, or an app, I usually log in with my WeChat. Or I don't log in with an email address. Okay? The email thing is not there. They market to you through email in the West. They don't market to you through email in China. They market to you through WeChat, articles and so forth, and messages. All right? And the payment is completely different. This is a credit card centric thing. You got to put details in, your credit card expires, something happens, doesn't work. This is very simple, very frictionless, okay? Frictionless means more people can buy things quicker, faster, more. So let me just put this into work. So when we decided to build this app, obviously the first thing that's beautiful about having an app that runs in WeChat is that the first thing they do, a student comes in, they pay you. They pay you. They haven't taken a class yet. We haven't paid a teacher to teach a class yet. They pay. They push one button. It's done. Then it goes into our service account. We know how many classes they have. We have all the data on them because of this payment situation. And then they get into this very rich app-like. It looks just like an app that you would download from the Apple App Store. But it's really HTML5, standard in the industry, that's deployed on WeChat in our service account. So all of our class listings, details, and even this animated icon of us finding your teacher is all there, done through standard H5. But where do the mini programs come into play? Well, as soon as you take a class, whether it's a video class or a voice class or a traditional WeChat class where you're doing voice messages and text, you enter a mini program. And it's completely seamless. You don't even know you've entered a mini program. And then, because WeChat is extensible, we actually have built an AI algorithm, a whole program that takes all this talking that's happening here, transfers it into text so that you can study it and read it and listen to it later. And it also parses the voice so we know against the database of hundreds of millions of speakers how you're doing as far as your pronunciation and so forth. And then obviously the teacher will give you feedback, and the system then tells you how you're pronouncing, which words you had problems with. And then this is again driven by the service account, and then you're back into a mini program for your after class study. So all the words, very personalized, all the words that you didn't get right, you didn't pronounce right, the grammar you didn't know, comes up here and you can review it, all based on your experience. It's a very personalized experience. Obviously, the data is all ours because it's in the cloud, so we show it however we want to, okay? And it's time to wrap up. So I'd like to introduce two companies. One is CodeSpark. CodeSpark, the CEO is here. This is Grant. They make a great program that teaches kids how to program, okay? And it's an app. But how do you promote an app in China? You probably need to use WeChat. They do. And then these guys who are going to be talking to you later. Leandro, I kept bugging this guy. Get a product on WeChat so you can sell it and get a customer experience. He did, got it up before Valentine's Day, and you can buy these things right off WeChat. This is Yoli. You can take a class, and this is me. If you have any questions, but my passion is helping people really figure out how to make WeChat work in your business, and this is a unique market. You must take advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Now, in transparency, I'm one of his clients. So I actually, in the DD, rather than talking to the DD driver, I'm talking to his app and practicing my Chinese. So I take full advantage of my time in my own little office in the DD. All right. Now, I want to thank the person who brought us all these macaroons and bring up Leandro to share about his company, the 3D Food Company, and help us understand the future of 3D printed food. So where's Leandro here? Right behind me. Okay.
Hello. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. AJ, thank you very much. Let me just figure out how we click over here. All right. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. My name's Leandro Rolone, and we are the 3D Food Company. So one of the things that we're doing at the 3D Food Company is trying to imagine how 3D printing might change the way we create our food and the way we interact with our food. Now, it's important to understand that our venture into the 3D printing space did not exactly begin with food, but instead began with a much larger question. So I'd like you to imagine just for a moment that everything in this room were 3D printed, including the chairs that you're on, the clothing on your back, hopefully the macaroons that you've already started to eat. Now imagine it was all personalized to your bodies, to your flavor preferences, to your size, to your comfort level. And imagine that it was actually cheaper than what it costs to make today. It sounds a little too good to be true, huh? So in 2015, my partners and I launched De Facto Lab. De Facto was really a research facility that was looking into the 3D printing space and trying to understand how 3D printing might impact a variety of industries. We've looked into things like architecture and fashion and product design and now cuisine. Due to the time, I won't talk too much today about De Facto's projects, but I would love to invite you all personally to our lab anytime and tell you a little bit more about how we've beaten Guinness World Records and how we've made award-winning products using our 3D printing technology. Tonight, instead, I want to focus a little bit on a new brand that we spun off a few months back called a 3D Food Company. So today you're hearing a lot about the future of food. You have companies like these guys here, the Impossible Burger, who are creating meat out of 100% plant-based material. So that burger right there is actually made out of plants. It's really cool. The fatty content on that is actually coconut, pieces of coconut. Another company doing really exciting things is looking into things like insect protein, which sounds kind of gross, but at the end of the day, when it's all kind of mushed up in your meal, it might not matter. So ultimately, in the end, what everyone's trying to answer is kind of a big problem that we have on our hands right now. And the question is, how are we going to feed 2 billion people in the next 30 years, which they're projecting the population to grow to about 9.6 billion people? So it's a really important question. It's a very pressing question, especially when you consider that today 1 in 6 people are actually suffering from malnutrition. It's a lot of people. On the flip side of that coin, today we as human beings are wasting about 30% of all the food that's actually produced from farms all the way to the table. And of course, this is obviously a very, very big question. Sorry, let me just grab my notes here. That we really, at the 3D Food Company, are trying to look into. So we look at food kind of from 3 angles. On one side, we have the experience level. And so experience is really about how does food taste? How does it look? How do you actually experience the food? On the other side, you have the performance. And so this is really breaking down the science. So how does food affect us, not only our bodies, but also the environment and ecosystem? And finally, you have the economics. So how is food grown? How is it transported to our homes? And how do we make it more cost effective? So for us as designers, we've really decided to focus in on the first area as our sort of phase 1. And really we want to hone in on the experience level. So hopefully this video will play here. So we've been working with a variety of brands and bringing 3D printing technology into the kitchens here in Beijing. This is us at the Ritz-Carlton collaborating with a Michelin star chef. What you'll see in these next videos is we're utilizing the technology to be able to 3D print in very precise manners all kinds of food. So in this case, we're using a chocolate crema that's actually created by the chefs there. Apologies. So forming a solid business model around food and food engagement has been really a core focus of ours these days. What we're trying to figure out is how can we engage with brands and allow brands to engage with their customers. And so in this case, you're seeing a dish that we co-created with a chef from the Four Seasons. So that's a 3D printed pattern that's been 3D printed out of mashed potato. And we've continued collaborating with a ton of brands, really big brands, and trying to help them engage their customers utilizing the precision of 3D printing tech. So recently we launched a new product called Digital Macaroon. Digital Macaroon, you have some here on the shelf if you're interested in trying some. Now, really, what we've done is we've created a very simple twist on the traditional macaroon. So by combining 3D printing tech and laser engraving tech, we're able to create extremely customized graphics on something that is normally pretty simple, a pretty simple snack. You can see here some of the gifts that we've created for some of our friends, including some of those over at WeWork, and everything from presidents to CEOs of massive companies. Now, the idea here is how do you actually interact with your food more and make it a bit more interesting? So recently we launched, and this was about 2 weeks ago, we launched this product here. Let's see if that video will go. So this is the first example of an augmented reality macaroon. So the idea is, well, okay, we can put a lot of stuff on a macaroon, but what exactly does that mean? And what we're learning in the lab is that this technology matters, especially when you consider the future of food and you start thinking about all the kind of information you need to know from your food. So imagine a person that has a food allergy and you want to understand what's going inside your food. This idea here of AR and food really is opening up a whole new sort of category in the food space. So along our path and along our venture over the past around 8 months or so, we've, as I mentioned, have engaged with a ton of brands, and we've started using our technology to create really precise elements that are all edible. So everything here you're seeing is food, from a sugar sculpture that we created for the Italian embassy to chocolate diamond cakes utilizing 3D printing tech. And what we've learned is that for brands, it's really important for brands to be able to engage their customers, especially in the F&B space, because ultimately in the end, brands need to create memories to bring people back for their businesses. Hit play here. Here you can see an actual 3D printer printing mashed potatoes in our lab. And if you look very closely, you'll see that the printer is actually printing on a one layer at a time. Oh, sorry. Okay. So imagine what that might look like in the future. Imagine having a burger, for instance, where we can layer a layer of meat, a layer of truffle, a layer of vitamin C, and maybe a layer of cheese on top. So these are concepts that are being developed around the world, and the reality is that these are also being developed in labs today, such as ours at the 3D Food Company. So in closing, I'd just like to ask a quick question. Who here had a nutritious, delicious breakfast this morning? Be honest. Okay. And not too many people here. So studies show that less than 50% of people actually eat breakfast in the morning globally. It's a big number. And over 91% of us understand that it's the most important meal of the day. So I'd like to pose a different reality, which is, imagine if you can 3D print your breakfast. What might that look like? So imagine waking up in the morning to a message from your favorite chef, and they're sending you a recipe for their favorite ingredients or for their favorite breakfast bar that they just designed. For 99 cents, you just downloaded that breakfast, and it's uploaded all to your 3D printer. Now, through our application, you can customize all the ingredients that are going inside. And at the same time, all the sensors that are in your Fitbit, in your pillow, and all the new sensors that are coming onto the market right now are reading your glucose levels, your blood pressure levels, maybe even your mood through sensing your hormones. And they're actually customizing that meal for you in that particular moment, that particular day. So we're really excited about this vision, and we truly believe it's possible. As you can see here today, we've already created a lot of these innovations in our lab, and we're really excited to invite you all on our mission to create more delicious, more nutritious, and way more accessible meal. Because after all, who doesn't want a 3D printed breakfast?
Thank you, Leandro. Appreciate that. Now, if you're near the Lama Temple, his lab is only a 5-minute walk away. And I had the chance to visit, and I was totally blown away by all the things that they've created. I didn't give him time today to share all of the amazing things that they've done, but we'll have time later that you can talk to him and learn a little bit about winning the Guinness Book of World Records for something that they created. Now, the next person I'm going to invite joined EO at the very same time. They went through the very same training. So I've known him for many years, and I've seen him be a constant entrepreneur, building different businesses. But the business that he's building now is phenomenal. He is going into the cross-border e-commerce and really hitting a home run. And I wanted him to talk about the future of e-commerce. So let me bring up Boonchai.
Thank you, AJ. My name is Boonchai Limatibun. I'm from Thailand, and I'm doing, my company name is Namu Life China, and I'm doing imported skincare from Thailand, which is very less well-known than Korean or Japanese brand. Anyway, these past 5 years was very good timing for imported products in China. So that's what I try to grab this opportunity, and I want to share my experience in this industry. Okay. Let me first introduce about cross-border e-commerce. It was officially released, the government released the regulations in 2012, but then it's really implemented in the big e-commerce platform in 2014. So basically, the government tried to encourage those smugglers. They try to those online e-commerce shop that smuggle products, imported products, and then sell it online. By doing that, the government tried to put all of those industry on the table. So they make things easier and then faster for those traders. Basically, it has to be for personal use only. You can ship your product into China, into bonded warehouse, and then when the customer ordered it online, you ship it to the customer, and then you pay the fixed tax at 11.9% at the point when you ship the product into your customer. And the most important thing is that you don't need to go through all the hassle regulations. For example, for skincare products, for me, I took almost 2 years to apply for my license for one product, for one SKUs. But through cross-border e-commerce, it's only take 1 week. So you can try new products into China first before you want to invest a lot of money in doing the license and doing the market trial. So look at the number. Last year, the cross-border e-commerce transaction was reached 7.6 trillion RMB with 58 million users, which account about 4.5% of the total population in China. So there's a lot of more room to grow. And the biggest platform that doing e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce platform is not Tmall, it's not JD, but then it's NetEase Kaola. They positioning themselves as a cross-border imported product on the day one. So that's why they get the positioning, and then they become the first players in China at the moment. For me, why I interested into this industry, actually for Thailand, there are a few advantages, which I think it's quite a unique position for Thailand. First of all, Thailand is the top one destination for Chinese tourists going outbound. So last year, there were more than 10 million Chinese tourists visiting Thailand. And Thailand, geographically, it's close to China. So the logistic fee and the time efficiency has more advantage. And one of the very important thing is that there are very few Thai brands that is well known in China. So if I ask you guys if you know any Thai brand that's selling well in China, it's really hard to think about that, right? So that's what I interested in this business. Then in 2014, I talked to the brand called Snail White. Actually, this company is quite young. They started in 2012. At the moment I talked to them, they only have one facial cream product, and then it's getting a little bit well known in China. So I talked to them that, okay, I want to do the market in China for your brand. So we cooperated and then and we started the company in China in 2015. Right now, this brand is the top skincare brand in Thailand. And luckily, the company doing quite well. So the company in Thailand is called Do Daydream. The owner of Snail White brand, they started in 2012. And then we cooperated the joint venture company in China in 2015. And then in December last year, they went IPO in Thailand Security Exchange. And the pricing is really amazing. So it was traded at the P of 100x at the day that they IPO. But unfortunately, I didn't involve in the beginning. Anyway, so we are looking for them to acquire the company in China. And now I want to introduce you the new terms. This is what is harder for imported product in these recent years. It's called imported Chinese brand. For example, these two brands, one is Hola from Australia and one is Ray from Thailand. If you go to department store in China, maybe two second tier or third tier cities, you see the shop of Hola. And then you ask the shop, the employer in the shop, they'll say it's from Australia. But then I found out that it's not Australian brand because I met an Australian lady who is in the skincare market, and then I asked if you know this brand, and then she has no idea about this brand. Same as Ray in Thailand. I'm Thai, and then I asked all my families, my friends, they never heard about this brand. But then if you have a chance to go to Thailand, you see this brand selling at the airport, at the many tourist spots in Thailand. So basically, they are owned by Chinese people. So because Chinese people, Chinese entrepreneur, they know the market, they know how to do the pricing, they know the price structure, what's Chinese market love of the product. Anyway, if any of you interested in importing products into China, there are a few things that you should aware of. First of all, the trademarks. It only takes 2,000 RMB to register, but if you fail to do that in the very beginning and your brand get popular, you gotta pay a lot of money getting it back. For example, Red Bull actually is Thailand brand, and few years ago, they acquired the brand back, the trademark back for more than 100 million RMB. The second thing is copycat. Maybe you should be happy if you see the copy version of your product in the market. That means your product is quite popular. But anyway, to prevent that, there are many ways, and then you should maybe there are some technology like counterfeiting a sticker, and that you can put it on your product. But I suggest that you can find Chinese service provider for doing those things for you. The third thing that you should concern is your own agent, because once you get your product to your agent to sell, you really need to focus on what they price your product in China, because they maybe will just make it very cheap to get it sell very well, but that will damage your product image in the long run. So I think for the future of Chinese to do imported product in China, it's entering the Chinese brand era. So for me, myself, I'm starting to partner with Chinese entrepreneur to do Thailand brand. So that's what I'm doing right now. So that's what I want to share for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Boon Chai. So I'm originally from Los Angeles, and when I found that someone was bringing Hollywood to Beijing, I got very excited. So next speaker, John Dietz, please talk to us about what you're doing in the film industry.
Thank you, AJ. So yeah, thanks AJ, thank you EO, thanks for you guys to come, thanks for inviting me. So yes, my background is working on Hollywood films. I do visual effects in Hollywood films. I started about 25 years ago. Which way? Oh yeah. So working on VFX in big films like Harry Potter's, X-Men, Hunger Games, those kinds of films. About 10 years ago, I came to China and worked on my first film, and I started to come back and forth more often to the film festivals in Shanghai and Beijing, and started to work on more and more Chinese films. About 5 years ago, moved here full time, and 3 years ago, started a company. So some of you may not know, or in case you don't know, visual effects. What are visual effects? Because I'm going to be talking about it a bit. It's the stuff in films that you can't photograph. So when you see the green screens and you see robots smashing cities, you see tigers in boats with kids, those are usually visual effects. Also, when people screw up on sets and they do something wrong, we have to fix things. So either we're doing stuff you can't shoot or we're fixing problems. Sorry, I got to get that down. Started the company about 3 years ago. It's called Bong Bong. Currently, we're working with some of the better directors in China, I like to think. Also, some of the bigger studios. So we're working on some of the big Chinese films. 8 films so far. A few have come out, other ones in progress. I wish I could show you a trailer, but it would take too long. 8 minutes is tight. Okay, so Chinese films and Hollywood films, what's the difference? Hollywood films, obviously it's more established. Chinese films, there's a booming market. I don't know business-wise how much you guys know about it, but the past decade it's been almost exponentially growing 50% each year. The last couple years it's flattened off a little bit, but it's still growing fast. So that's because they're building a lot of screens. So screens still building in 3rd, 4th tier cities. Hollywood kind of flattened off. North America, they're not building as many screens. But in Hollywood, you get the business, you get North America box office, plus you get world box office. Everybody wants to see Hollywood films around the world. And you also have IP exploitation. There's toys, there's games, there's DVDs. China, we only get the domestic market. So we have this really hard constraint of budgets. So our budgets are a tenth, sometimes even lower, of the Hollywood films. But we also, sorry, I missed this. So the budgets put constraints on us. So the causes the market to be very chaotic. So the tight budgets actually impacts schedules as well, so we're always working on much tighter schedules than Hollywood. Another thing with Chinese films is everyone's a little bit less experienced, more inexperienced. Whether those are the producers or it's the filmmakers themselves, the experience level is less. But at the same time, when an audience goes to the theater, they can either go to a Hollywood film or they can go to a Chinese film. So we're competing directly with these budgets and movies that are way, way more resources than we have. Another big challenge is the cultural differences between storytelling in West and East. So in the Western market, sorry, I gotta breathe a little bit. I'm not very good at this stuff, so apologies. So our solution to those problems is we try to work with the best filmmakers. So we pick and choose who we think can actually make a good film and try to collaborate with them. We treat filmmaking as more of an iterative process. It's kind of like comes from an IT stage. So whether it's a creative thing or it's also some of the technology we do, we dig in and we try to prototype. So we do a lot of experimentation with storyboards and previs and simpler forms on the final process and try to turn around quickly. We also, as a company, we try to take on more control of the entire process. So if we work on one film and we find out there's a problem, as in some part of the filmmaking process is impacting our work later on, we'll take it on the next show. So we actually take on more of the work. So our overall capabilities is growing and growing as we get better in the market. So the fourth thing was our business model is almost like a supply chain. So I think that's something from China that we've done differently than a Hollywood business model on filmmaking. we actually take the film as like 1,000 little mini problems and break them into pieces. And we'll take the hard problems and we'll ship them to some of the best places in the world. So a lot of companies that work on some of the biggest Hollywood films, you know, winning Oscars and very big companies, we'll send them the hard stuff. And then we'll try to do easier stuff locally in our building or in vendors that are in China. And then bring the work back into our office and reassemble it and then show the directors directly. These are some of our vendors. Again, like companies that have done Avatar and Planet of the Apes and almost anything that you've seen, you know, that you're probably a fan of, memorable moments and visual effects. It's probably come from some of our vendors. Okay, so for us, what's our future? My passion, really, and why I'm in this industry in China, in the market, is to support the Chinese filmmakers. So there's a lot of guys with great vision. There's some fantastic filmmakers here. And like I've always looked at it as, why can't they have access to the same tools that the Hollywood filmmakers have? And you know, the problems I listed before are part of the reasons, but you know, for us, we're trying to break through that and you know, get through the challenges and give them access to equipment and companies and individuals that can help them tell their stories for China, to, you know, enhance the culture and, you know, tell Chinese stories, hopefully that want to be consumed by the rest of the world. Another thing for us is, again, those budget constraints, those time constraints, those challenges that are in the market, the inexperienced producers, the high expectations. It causes a lot of chaos. And for us as a company, we've kind of looked at the chaos as a way to innovate. I think people are more susceptible to risk. They're more responsive or able to take the risks. So that's enabled us to try new things and to do things in different ways. And I think what will ultimately happen is, because of the ability to accept risk, we will actually leapfrog some of the Hollywood films. So part of what we're doing as well is not just building a company, but we're hopefully steering an entire market. Again, the market's not in that fantastic of a shape technically to make big VFX tentpole type films. But I think we're impacting it already. And I think what happens is, if we start to set quality levels and system levels, people will start to follow what we're doing, which is already happening. So again, I look at what we're doing as not just building a company, but we're impacting what's happening in the whole market. And you know, not just building a company that hopefully is successful business-wise, but also we make these films that are Chinese films, but people around the world decide they want to see them, they want to actually consume them. So, you know, maybe, actually, hopefully our goal is to win, you know, some Oscars for these Chinese films. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Fantastic. Now, as social media has consumed our lives, it has allowed marketing companies to learn more about us. And there are some marketing companies that are using artificial intelligence to really understand us. So I wanted to bring up an expert to talk about the future of AI in marketing. Jackie.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. I love the energy in this room. Very entrepreneurial. My name is Jackie Luan. I'm the founder and CEO of Levector Technologies. And it's a great honor to be here to share with you some of our thoughts how artificial intelligence will be shaping marketing and customer experience in the next 5 to 10 years. First, a little bit on what we do at Levector. So we are a data science and marketing technology agency. So basically, we provide business clients with analytics, softwares, and digital marketing solutions to help them engage with their consumers more effectively and in a more personal way. My journey with marketing big data actually started 17 years ago when I became a graduate student, a doctoral student at Yale School of Management. In the years that followed, Through my consulting work, my teaching and research, I discovered a big business opportunity. That is, data-driven marketing, as opposed to marketing purely driven by ideas or a lot of advertising spending, can actually significantly improve business results for companies. So I decided to quit my job in 2015 and started my own company. 2.5 years later, we are serving some of the world's largest and most respected brands. In the next few minutes, I'd like to share with all of you a few actual use cases where artificial intelligence is already being applied to marketing and customer experience to drive results. As you may have noticed, marketing centers around contents. Every day, contents are being created, distributed, shared, analyzed. So companies try to understand what their consumers want and to provide that products and services and to communicate with their consumers about their products and services. And the entire marketing chain, the value chain, is being rewritten because of artificial intelligence. So let's start with consumer insights. So that's one area used to be dominated by marketing research agencies, survey questionnaires, focus groups, interviews, very expensive, lengthy, and labor-intensive. Today, because of the sophistication of artificial intelligence technology, we can actually help companies analyze millions of pieces of social information from social media, e-commerce, apps, every minute, and to extract the business insights that enable the client's product innovation and marketing communication. At LeVector, not only can we make sense of the words consumers share online, we can also make sense of the pictures, the images, short video clips that they share on social media every day. So how is this done? Thanks to a type of machine learning algorithm called deep neural network learning, machine learning can watch all these images that consumers share online and be able to identify the faces, expressions, gender, consumption context, whether it's in a shopping mall or in a bar, in a meeting place, in a park, what brand logos are being featured in this image, what products are used together, but also the sentiments and attitudes behind these images. So how can this help companies? So let me share with you some examples. Take the beauty market. The beauty market is notoriously fickle, right? So the beauty consumers' interests and preferences change from season to season, from month to month. At LeVector, we use an analytical engine to help companies like Estee Lauder and Max Factor predict what are the trending looks, what are the trending colors, use scenarios, what kind of product features, packaging format will become popular in the coming month. The colors, the use scenarios, but also the psychological motivations behind them. So companies can quickly take advantage of this information to improve their product innovation and as well as marketing communication. So for another global fast food chain clients, our engine basically processes, user review data on Dianping and Ele.me and social media and help them predict what burger flavors will become popular next month in each Chinese city. So you can imagine this form of business intelligence were practically impossible 2 years ago. But now, thanks to machine learning and artificial intelligence, it can be done in real time at a very low cost to help them make their business decisions more efficiently. Content creation. So this has traditionally been the realm of a few selective marketing professionals and advertising agencies. But now, with the prevalence of social media, every consumer, you and I, on social media, we can write contents for brands and products. So how can companies most effectively match their brands with the influencers and content angles? So this is where machine learning can come to help. So machine learning can basically help a company quickly understand who their audiences are and to find the right influencer and the right community angle to produce these contents. So content creation will become more and more crowdsourced instead of just being held and controlled by a few agencies. This is not only done more efficiently, cheaper, this also leads to a higher level of consumer engagement, higher loyalty, and higher sales conversion over the funnel. Lastly, and probably most importantly, in the AI-driven future, marketing and the entire digital experience will be purely and fully personalized. As consumers, we see this happening already, right? Every time you click on your Netflix videos or every time you open your JD or Tmall app, what you see on your landing page is entirely different from what I see. So in a sense, machine learning algorithms already understand you and me better than our parents or even our best friends. What does this mean? In the future, not only is personalization spilling from online to the offline world, with the aid of artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and IoT connectivity, our entire offline experience will be personalized too. So let me give you one example how LeVector's recommendation engine is being currently used by shopping malls to provide a personalized offline experience. So shopping mall has been a very overwhelming place for many of us, right? Hundreds of stores, tons of new merchandises and information, promotions every day. So how can we move from that time-honored floor directory to a mobile, nimble, real-time, location-based shopping guide? So this year, LeVector introduced a new shopping mall search engine that allows shopping mall customers to quickly find the services, restaurants, merchandise, promotions they need based on their real-time location as well as their digital footprint. So what this means is that in the future, the way that we navigate the offline world will be as personalized as the way we navigate the digital world today. It will be an exciting future, and I look forward to exploring new opportunities with all of you today. That's my personal QR code. Thank you very much.